at the banks of the Potomac River just outside the Reagan National Airport. You see a lot of it is closed off. The camera crews stretch all the way down here. Essentially, we're not really being allowed near it yet because what was a search mission, of course, turned in the very early hours of the morning into a recovery mission. The water was too cold. The wind was very strong, despite the efforts of over 300 law enforcement. We are now confirming, as are all authorities here, 64 passengers and crew on the plane dead, and the 3 Army people in the helicopter. Not all relatives have been contacted yet, so we're not getting all the identities just yet. But this is what we do know, is that plane from Wichita, Kansas was pretty full. It was a regional jet, and there were several members of ice skating championships. They've been at the US World Ice Skating, US National Ice Skating Championships in Wichita, Kansas. A real tragedy. You know, we haven't had a fatal crash like this for a long time in the US, especially in Washington, D.C., not since the 80s, when a plane taking off flew into a bridge. And the fact that the plane was on a normal flight path coming in, and I cross these bridges every day, I see them. You can see, for example, in the distance, the Capitol. You can see the Washington Monument. We are very close to downtown DC, and these planes coming on a very set flight path. The helicopters that train, and remember the Pentagon's just here, there's an airbase just here, they train all the time. Apparently both aircraft were on the right paths, but obviously we'll wait for the investigation, but they weren't there at the right time because they collided. Just a terrible tragedy. We have, of course, messages from everyone, from the president on down, from Wichita to Washington. But the real question won't be answered for days, weeks and months to come, which is, how did this happen? In Washington, D.C., when you have thousands of flights a day, you have set paths for everything, and yet this collision killed 67 people. Nathan King, CGTN, outside Reagan National Airport.